We go. We're live. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's your boy Rob and your boy Nick, Cell Rams and the Dizzle. If you don't know us on Twitter, if you do, shout out to all our peeps. But if you don't, get at us. Basically, we're here just doing our midweek recap and a little preview of what we saw last week and what we're going to see this week between the Rams and the Bills, and then the Rams and the Washington football team. So, without further ado, let's talk real quick about what we saw last week. It was unexpected because everyone anticipated a bad Giants team going on the road, going into SoFi, and I mean, honestly, we all did our score predictions. Do you remember what you did with Bates' prediction? I think I had 40-20.
24-9. I was close.
Yeah, you were much closer than the rest of us. We all thought it would be just a walk because that defense had been giving up chunk yards. They weren't really good in any particular way. But Blake Martinez and that defensive line showed up. They impacted the game. They took that quick game away from the Rams and Goff and McVay, and they took the running game away. And then we didn't. How many balls did we see for past 20 yards? Any Cup's touchdown, and then one he dropped. Was there another shot?
The one there was overthrow left on the left boundary, I think.
Right, to Van Jefferson. Yeah. So maybe 3 or maybe 4 shots, but other than that, they just didn't throw the ball down the field. They didn't challenge them, and because of that, that defense played tough. They stepped up and they kept it close, much closer than we wanted, much closer than we all anticipated. But give them, I'm going to tip my hats to the defense. They rose up. They got ready for the game. I think DeMarco Farr even said something like that. Rather than just poo-pooing about how broken the Rams are, let's tip your hat to what a pretty good defensive performance for those guys. It was the best effort yet this year. It is what it is. Now you've got another one coming up this week that might be a little tougher. But before we move on from the Giants, any thoughts on what you saw Sunday outside of disappointment?
No, I think that one of the biggest things I think we said before going into that game was obviously getting a win is paramount, but also coming out of it healthy is even bigger. I would say for the most part we did. The thing that is probably the scariest is what is up with Micah.
Right.
Because as he's learning and growing into that position, to come out of it with a pec and a groin strain, it's the same pattern we've seen with him where he can't hit the field, and he needs those reps, especially when we get into playing the Seattles and San Franciscos of the world that are going to test the hell out of that position. That kid needs all the reps he can possibly get. And conversely, his replacement, Troy Reeder, he doesn't deserve to be in the league. I will adamantly say that. And I'm very pro player, but that guy is terrible.
Pro everyone but that player.
Yeah.
We saw it last year, right? He's not even an average replacement. He's below average. He's slow. He diagnoses slow. He gets overpowered at the point of attack. There's just nothing that he does well. I mean, it's one of those things where you can go, okay, well, if he does this well, we can maybe mask it by helping out some other areas, but he just doesn't. He's a body. I'd rather have Bryce Hager. He made plays, right?
Right.
But that's the Trevin Howard injury coming back, because he would have been a guy that would have stepped in and done that.
Totally.
So that injury comes to play, and now you've got Micah, who's injured again. We'll see how long he's going to be missing, but he missed all of last year when he was slated to be the starter, preseason starter, never saw the field, not once. Hurt, gone. So that's going to be a big concern. I know we had joked earlier in the week about maybe making a trade or picking up someone who's a free agent out there. I just don't see them doing it right now until it's a necessity. So we'll see, unless we know that Micah's going to be gone for a long time. Is there any news on Nigel? Nigel's time with Denver? I've been kind of busy.
Yeah,
he did.
He's
Nigel Bradham's off the board.
I don't know. I think the great thing is that Les has proven that he isn't afraid to go knock on every door and check under every rug that you possibly can to say, hey, where can we find prospects at? And that's whether it's a low end guy or a 7-year vet that has seen a Pro Bowl or two and has playoff experience. I would be shocked if that doesn't happen at some point, because regardless of Trevin or Micah's injury, we were thin at that position from an experience standpoint. And it is going to be continually a glaring hole. There's a lot of 0-4 teams that are losing their head coaches. I'd be calling about Zach Cunningham tomorrow. And if that takes a third or a fourth, So yeah,
So be it, right?
Draft picks are what they are, right? They are a chance to roll dice.
There's an extra playoff spot in each conference this year, and you want to make sure you're one of those guys. And so if you got to make a move and pull the trigger, and you have to give up, future pick, whatever, you do it, because as we saw last year, it goes away quickly. And you have to take advantage of those opportunities. And so this is a pretty good team. If they can keep playing like we think they will, and what they're showing so far in the early of the season, you have to give Sean and Staley and Kevin McConnell, you got to give them the bullets to fire the gun. If you don't, that's on the front office. So without a doubt, it's been the black hole for a while. Corey was there. He kind of placated us for a couple of years with some good play, but he had no help next to him. But now he's gone, and it's truly a black hole. You're playing a lot of safeties down there, right? Taylor Rapp is dropping down, playing linebacker.
And this is actually a pretty good segue into the next topic that we want to talk about is with Jalen. I think the cycle this summer was Jalen saying with a smirk that I'm going to be used in ways that I've never been used, and people asking what is that. I think we started to see a glimpse.
We definitely saw it.
He came down in the slot. We sent him on blitzes. He got home for a sack. If he is that versatile, it's a pro for us. I think we said this last week that I would love for us to start using our safeties and or Jalen in the same way that Seattle does, and bringing Jamal down in the box, because with a team that can't get home to the quarterback, I know we had 4 sacks, but that wasn't because of pure dominance up front from front four. That was creative usage and really good coverage. But Jalen was deployed in different ways, and I think it's going to be a Swiss Army knife that we can use throughout the rest of the year.
And what enables Jalen to do that is the play of someone like Darius Williams, right?
Oh man!
If you have Troy who has turned himself into a pretty good player. He has off weeks, and people love to hate him. But from what he was to what he's become over the last couple of years, he's a pretty decent corner. He's a good option. But when you have someone like Darius Williams who comes out and there's no drop off, and allows you to make Jalen available to go do other things and take advantage of those talents, as you mentioned, that's a testament to this front office building the depth of their DBs. Their DBs are the strength of that defense. Aaron Donald.
They are.
Aaron Donald is the guy who makes the cheese and gets a lot of the fanfare because he's the best player in the league. But if you're looking at it as a collective group, that group is solid. I mean, you look across that back, and they are deep. They are.
So they are, absolutely.
And then that's going to segue into what we see this week, because we have a quarterback change with the Washington football team / Landover. What do we call them this week? The Landover football team. We have Kyle Allen who got the nod. They made a change at quarterback. They didn't like their 4-week experiment, and they switched to the dangerous Kyle Allen. How confident are we that he's actually going to finish the game? We going to see Alex Smith at some point?
Man, I think from a feel-good story, I'd love to see Alex play. He's one of those guys where he was a 49er, but he was a guy that he's impossible to hate. And then looking at his story, his comeback, I think everybody with a heart is cheering for him. I just don't want to see him this game. One, because I think he's probably, from a quarterback standpoint, he's the best quarterback on their roster.
Absolutely.
And two, God forbid something happens to him further. I don't want to see AD game
break him, right?
No,
we don't want to see him hurt.
But Kyle Allen, does he finish a game? It's going to be dependent on, can he take care of the football? Last year he almost had a 1-to-1 touchdown to pick rate.
Is that good?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it that way.
If you equate it to assist to turnovers in basketball, no, it's not.
That might be bad.
He can push it downfield, so it's going to be their strength on offense, which is going to be throwing the ball vertically, versus our strength on defense is pass defense. I think if you look at our DVOA, I know we touch on that, what DVOA is every single week, but the strength of our team is pass defense. We're bottom of the barrel on the run side of it, but that's partially by design. It's a run funnel defense. It's one of those things where you get a freshman quarterback in there, it's tough. The guy has had limited snaps. They're a bad team anyways. They can't protect the quarterback. That's partially why Dwayne wasn't good and wasn't learning the offense. So,
Wait, are you
I
saying that
feel,
if you lose an all-pro guard that your quarterback might suffer?
I don't know. Dak's playing pretty damn good without all three of his Pro Bowlers.
He has the legs, right? I guess because he's had to run for his
Fair.
life.
Yes.
But you lose a guy like Brandon Streff. I mean, and you're gonna get the pressure up the middle, and you have a young quarterback. I think bad things tend to happen.
But they have weapons on offense. I think that's the thing that Antonio Gibson's good. Like he's a very, very good player. And it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I think he only had like 24 touches or something like that in college. Like it was super, super minimal. He's flashed thus far, and Terry McLaurin is a very, very good wide receiver. So I don't know, it's one of those things where I think you respect your opponent. You're going across country. You're going to play on shitty FedEx field. That thing is terrible. Hopefully knees come out fine and everyone ends up healthy. But
have you seen the injury report? What's Chase Young doing today? Was he still out? That would bode well. That'd bode well for the Rams because the Washington defensive front is stout. They got after in week 1. They got after Carson Wentz like 9 times, right? Something like that. 8 times, 9 times. They really harassed the crap out of them. No, the Eagles were actually missing some offensive linemen as well. But the point is, they're really good. You just mentioned DVOA. I think we talked. Their Washington defense is 4th, by far the best defense we played so far this year. You thought the Giants were stout last week. The Skins are the former Skins are better. They're really good on that side of the ball. Their problem is they've been able to score. As talented as some of the receiving core is, they just haven't gotten them the ball. So
he is sidelined still.
He is
good.
Yeah, so that bodes well for us because that guy can flat out rush the passer. What is it with Ohio State and DNs? It's like a factory.
I do know. You want to hear an interesting little tidbit? So their I want to say their defensive line coach, his son plays for University of Montana. So what's up, plug? I don't know. I think that you get certain scouts, certain coaches that stay in those big programs and they know how to recruit. If you play fantasy football and you're drafting rookies, like where are the 2 schools you go to look at wide receivers anymore? You go to Clemson and you go to LSU. If they're coming from those 2 programs, they're probably pretty damn good. If you're drafting a running back, like Georgia's the place to go. If you need someone to get after the passer, it's Ohio State. So I think that you look at different programs and they attract certain players, which is easy to do, right? Like if you're Ohio State and you're going to Chase Young to recruit the kid, and you're saying, here, look what we did with Nick Bosa.
Right. Like we did Drilling.
Yeah, exactly. We do. The kids start salivating, like, yeah, I want to follow a part of that lineage. So I think you can see those commonalities all throughout the.
What school do you go to if you need a 6th round safety? You go back to Ohio State.
You do go back to Ohio State. I think, or Boston College. Boston College cranks some kids out.
Which we have one of each in our secondary.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. So what do you think? Any quick thoughts on what we're going to see this weekend? Do you expect a comfortable win? You think they're going to bounce back? I mean, I think they struggle. I think it's not going to be super easy because I think that defense is good, but I trust Sean McVay to get his boys ready. After a stinker last week and a heartbreaking loss against Buffalo, I don't see them stringing together just a bunch of bad games. So I expect him to have his guys laser focused. Yeah, there's travel involved, but I think especially because Washington's offense just hasn't clicked. I think they take care of business.
Yeah, I'm expecting a win. I think I'm expecting the same performance that we saw last week on defense. Maybe a better one. Yeah, I think you're going to see better quarterback play just because Kyle Allen has live snaps and can throw it vertically. But on offense, I really think that you see him get back to running the football. I'm really, really, really shocked that they got away from it last game. Sean says it wasn't there. I don't know. At least my eyeballs didn't tell me that.
It's not there if you don't do it.
Exactly.
Right.
The red zone faux pas in that game was indicative of that. We ran the ball all the way down the field and then stopped. So I do think that they ran the football screens
and the Gerald Everett fumble. It just wasn't. It was not good. I mean, Malcolm Brown, I love the guy. He gets things done, but he doesn't have the athleticism, the speed, or the burst that Henderson does. He just does it. He's a plodding. He's slow. he he churns. He's shifty, right? He has a wiggle. He doesn't let you get good clean shots on him a lot, but he's not plant your foot and hit the hole and go. And I was kind of wondering when they were going to get back to him doing that game. They kind of got away from him.
I wonder if that shot impacted him at all.
I think so. The big one, that Dexter shot.
When he got popped, we didn't see him very much after that. There was like 3 straight series where it was mouth. Yeah. So we get Cam back this week. So yay! I think the 3-headed behemoth looks great.
Outside of the Cooper Cup touchdown, Henry had the longest reception of the day, 16 yards.
That little dump off, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little dump off and took it down the left sideline. It was, more than so. That kind of tells you where the offense was. He had a longer reception than Woods, than J. Ray, than any of the tight ends. I mean, I think he had 4 or 5 catches for like around 13 and 14 yards. There was nothing underneath, which is what the Rams have really feasted on this year. I'd like to see them take a couple shots, loosen them up a little bit. But by all means, I'm totally with you. Let's stick to the run game. Stick to the run. Let's not abandon it. They showed that in week 1. They showed it in week 2. They showed it in week 3. Even when they were down huge, they stuck with the run game. They kind of got away from it this last week. So we need to get back to it. Even if it's not there, just keep them honest. Keep them honest. And God forbid, no more screens inside the 15. Let's just throw that shit out.
I'm aligned.
Especially back-to-back plays. Let's just not do that anymore. Okay, well, I think we are going to call it up. We want to hit this real quick. We're going to keep these midweek things just short. Quick wrap-ups, couple thoughts, share our ideas. We're working on some special guests. We've got some Twitter legends lined up. We're hoping to get one here next week. We might do this on a Monday next week if we can get our schedules lined, because our guests can't do this during the week. But he's awesome. We know him very well, and I think you guys will love him as well. So let's stay tuned to the site. You've got another pod coming out. I think they're recording tomorrow. You'll have the pod by Friday, so you'll have that. You'll have all the stuff that we drop on the site. I know Joe's been working on a couple of little gems, and so get at us, find us on social, and we will get with you guys next week. Have a great week. Go Rams. See you, Nick.
Lakers in 5.
Dodgers as well.
No.
No.
Chop, baby.